Hi, this is Zach and you're watching a product review from MakeUseOf.com. Today we're taking a look at the Samsung 85-inch Class 7 series LED 4K UHD Smart TV powered by Tizen. That's a super long name. And this is a super big TV. And this TV is huge. For reference, I'm about 6 feet tall. I'm right up next to the TV. This is my wingspan. That's how high up it goes, like I'm just a few inches away from the ceiling. This is the latest Tizen Smart TV from Samsung. It's also available in 43 inches, 50, 55, 58, 60, 65, 75, and then this is of course the 85-inch model. So the size of this screen is no doubt impressive and it's very easy to get excited about, but bigger doesn't always necessarily mean better. So stick around to the end of the review. I'm going to be going over everything about the Samsung Tizen Class 7, from picture quality to sound quality and all of the smart capabilities and functions of the TV. So without further ado, let's get into it. This is a 4K LED display. And it looks great just out of the box. But if you're like me, you're gonna want to spend some time in the picture settings. So we'll pull open the menu, and when you go to the main picture mode, it leaves a bit to be desired. There is the natural setting, which is the default that the TV comes on, not to be confused with standard. Did you notice the difference? So slightly brighter, nothing too crazy. And beyond those two things, I can't really imagine that you would really use the other ones. Dynamic maybe boosts brightness and colors a little bit more, but movie and filmmaker mode both just add a little bit of fake film grain that kind of just comes off as like a sepia Instagram filter. There's not much here besides the natural and standard. Really what you're gonna want to be taking a look at is in the expert settings. This gives you dials for brightness, contrast, sharpness, color, stuff that you'd more expect. But weirdly enough, and I haven't been able to figure out why, lower down in the menu here, there are several options that are just unavailable. White balance, RGB only mode, color space settings, but that's okay, because really the only things that most people are gonna wanna focus on are brightness, contrast, stuff like that. All of these are obviously gonna be a matter of personal preference, but I really haven't had to adjust most of these for normal viewing, like TV or movies or anything like that. Switching to video games though, however, I will say I usually have to tone down the brightness just a bit, but it's hardly anything to complain about. The screen looks amazing. When it comes to adjusting picture quality, ironically enough, the setting that I keep returning to most frequently isn't even in the picture settings of the menu. Down here in general, oops, and then in power and energy saving, this brightness optimization feature. Much appreciated for someone like me if you're in a brighter living room with a lot of windows. There's a bunch behind the camera right now and it gets really bright in here during the daytime, causes a lot of glare. The brightness optimization will actually automatically adjust, much like a phone does, depending on ambient light in the room. There's really not much else to say about the picture quality. It just looks amazing. But just to be sure, I subjected the TV to a variety of visual calibration tests. The Samsung Smart TV powered by Tizen was able to pass a calibration test for black uniformity, motion artifacts, local dimming, and upscaling with no noticeable deficiencies. Like most TVs, this comes with a built-in speaker and a single digital optical audio output. Apart from choosing the native TV speaker or the optical audio output, there's also an option to connect the TV to a Bluetooth speaker if you'd rather do it that way. And when it comes to sound modes within the settings menu, not that far off from the picture modes. There's the standard adaptive sound, which I haven't really been able to tell if that works, but similar to the adaptive brightness, should adjust to the ambient noise in the room. And lastly, amplify, which as you probably guessed, just makes everything a little bit louder. The adaptive sound was a lot more difficult to reliably test than the adaptive brightness, and it seemingly just always defaulted to raising the volume like the amplify setting does. The built-in TV speakers are quality enough to pull their weight in the overall viewing experience, but they're also nothing really to write home about, especially when compared to the screen display. Obviously, in order to get the full cinematic home theater experience, you'll need to invest in some sort of sound system, which of course is accounted for with the digital optical audio output, which is perfectly compatible with any current digital audio options. So this TV, like all Samsung Smart TVs, is powered by the Tizen operating system, which will probably look familiar to you. You just get the little home menu pop-up at the lower third bottom of the screen. The full screen homepage is kind of a mishmash of free content available on Samsung TV Plus and sponsored content available on other apps. And if you weren't aware of that, yes, you did hear me correctly, Samsung TV Plus is also its own app. As you can see, this functions really similarly to a TV guide you might see on a less smart TV. All these channels come for free with the TV, so you obviously shouldn't expect much, but you will get a few free news channels and movies that might not be available on some other platforms. And even though you do get this TV guide, which is practically nostalgic at this point, I can't help but feel like the Samsung TV Plus couldn't just be folded into the home menu. The homepage already kind of feels like a bit of a mishmash, so I think consolidating these two things would maybe make sense. But with all the content available, who knows how much this would actually cut down on the clutter. I know we're talking about smart features of the TV, but I do want to take a quick opportunity to talk about the remote, because this is easily the worst part of the TV. If the TV guide on Samsung TV Plus is nostalgic, then this is an antique. So let's talk about this button layout. You've got the classic arrow keys with the enter button in the center that you see on most TV remotes these days, and that has lots of functions. You can use it to pause, fast forward, rewind, and navigate and select things. So why do we need additional pause, play, rewind, stop buttons? You've got these A through D letter keys that are just holdovers from previous features that aren't even available on this TV anymore. All of these number keys that are for selecting channels. It's a smart TV. We don't need that anymore unless it's for Samsung TV Plus. Because of just how many buttons there are and how close in proximity they all are, I feel like I'm pretty frequently fat fingering the wrong option, which can be really frustrating when like return and source are so close to arrow keys. Other smart TVs like Roku do a similar thing where it's just the arrow keys and then an up and down volume button, because that's all you need. So really, there's no excuse for a remote seeming this dated. Really can't stand the design of this thing, and it needs to be updated. On that same note though, back over to smart functions of the TV, because it's a Samsung product, it is compatible with the Samsung Smart Things app. And that Samsung app is for all of their smart related products, so it's the home hub for all sorts of Samsung stuff, not just the TV, but you can use the Smart Things app to have a virtual remote, which unfortunately really isn't that much better than this thing. But it's there, it's an option. Just to further prove the point that you really only need the arrow keys and the volume button, that's all the virtual remote has on it. But since it's on your phone screen and lacks the tactile sensation of physical buttons, it's sometimes hard to tell what you're actually pressing, and I feel like I'm constantly having to do double takes back and forth between my phone and the TV if I'm using it as the virtual remote. When it comes to smart TVs, Samsung's products powered by Tizen have firmly established themselves as a safe bet. The device's performance is matched by its sleek appearance, so you're getting exactly what you expect. And you can probably tell by the fact that the only thing I've managed to complain about for the entire review is the undeniably dated remote. But even that isn't enough to ruin the otherwise amazing viewing experience. And for the purposes of this review, the 85-inch version of this TV is definitely worth considering if your living room or viewing space can accommodate it for its size. And for me personally, as an avid cinephile and gamer, this comes as a quality of life improvement. Thank you so much for watching this product review from MakeUseOf.com. If you found this video to be helpful, maybe consider leaving a like or a comment below. Or click subscribe if you don't want to miss out on all of the latest tech product reviews. We post new videos every single week, so we'd love to see you in another video. Thanks again for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.